Hey weirdos, welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I've got a super simple step-by-step dip application with gel liquids. I'm breaking it all down today. I'm going to show you my step-by-step, explain why I'm doing what I'm doing, and maybe give you a little bit of an insight as to why I, in the recent past, have always preferred gel liquids over dip liquids. My nails are prepped right now with UNT Peel Off Base Coat. I know it's been missing in action for a while on Amazon. You can use the Virgo and Gem Peel Off Base Coat. I found that to be a pretty close formula and it comes off just as easily. This is how I prep for my gel manis with dip powder. If you want a longer lasting mani, you're going to want to skip the Peel Off Base Coat and prep your nail like you normally would. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the smallest bead of gel on my brush and put it down in the center of the nail. That way I'm not flooding my cuticle area or my sidewalls with gel base. That can cause a few issues in your very near future. It can cause you a lot of cleanup to do before you cure. It can cause more filing you have to do later. So I like to dump the product in the center of the nail first, wipe off any excess gel from my brush onto the bottle. Then I go back in, make sure my cuticle area and my sidewalls are covered, not touching skin. Then, after I clean up the little bit of gel that flooded my cuticle, I'm going to pour over the dip powder. This for me is a must. I know there are some people that like to dip right into the jar. However, I have found for me that since gel does not cure in the open air, it needs the lamp to cure. It can cause the gel to bunch up or wrinkle, which is going to give me more work to do later when I go to file. Now I'm taking a precision tool. You can use a toothpick, cuticle orange wood stick thing, or even a small dotting tool, and I'm running that around my cuticle and sidewall area to make sure I don't have any product touching skin or where it shouldn't be. Again, I'm just preventing myself from having to do extra filing later. This is going to require a little bit of filing, but if you follow these steps, the filing will be minimal. If you do not like to file, here's your key, your game changer, your tips and tricks. So now that I've gotten that dip on, I went ahead and cured, and I did a second coat. I'm doing 2 coats per nail, and it's a carbon copy literally of the first coat that I did. So moving on to the second nail, doing it the exact same way. We're going to talk a little bit about pros and cons to using gel liquids as opposed to your dip liquids. And if you're wondering, because technically you're combining gel with acrylic, which technically equals polygel, yes, these are polygel nails. A broken down way of applying it perhaps, but it's the same exact thing. It is gel plus dip, which equals polygel. I bet you didn't know that. I didn't figure that out, to be perfectly honest, until recently. I put the 2 and 2 together and I'm like, huh, are these actually polygel nails? Which is also why it can be a little bit more difficult to remove, because polygel, if you've played with it before or if you've seen people use it before, you know that it takes a little strength and determination to get polygel off of your nails. So I understand that this can be a deterrent for some people. However, I like to use peel off base coat. Does that mean your nail is not going to last as long? Yeah, but I like to do my nails. I love doing my nails, and I like to do them at least once or twice a week. So for me, it works. And if it doesn't work for you, if you need your nails to last longer, there's also a remedy for this. On my natural nail right now, underneath everything, I have an overlay of builder gel. That's what I use to protect my natural nail because my nails by nature are very thin. So if you have builder gel on your natural nail, you can apply your quote unquote polygel in this manner, dip plus gel base. And then when you're ready to change your mani, file off the color. File off until you hit that builder gel, and then you won't damage your natural nail, and you won't have to sit there soaking your nails in acetone for what feels like an eternity. Now, there are pros and cons to doing it this way with dip powder and gel liquids. I want to talk first about some of the problematic things that can happen if you're doing it this way. Of course, if you have a gel sensitivity, if you're allergic to HEMA or acrylates or whatever the case may be, of course, this may not be an option for you. However, I have learned through good friends of mine who have gel sensitivities that there are options. If you need a HEMA-free gel option, I love Dipalicious. Her gels are beautiful and they're all HEMA-free. If you are allergic to something else in gel like the acrylates and HEMA, because they usually kind of go hand in hand, there are hypoallergenic gels. Luminary and Light Elegance are two that one of my close friends uses on a regular basis, who has a lot of gel sensitivity, and she has sworn by them. I will leave all that stuff down in the box for you guys. I'm using iGel Beauty gels right now. They are not HEMA free, but as of this point, who knows what'll happen in the future, but right now I do not have a sensitivity to gel, so I'm fine to use them. But as mentioned, if you do, or if you're afraid that you might, there are other options. Now that we've taken care of that kind of thing and the removal process, I want to talk about what I love about using gel base with dip liquids. Number one, it is quicker. For me, it is way faster because I don't have to do so much filing later. That's typically what would take the most amount of time for me, is perfecting my nail shape and smoothness when using dip liquids, because I'm putting a lot of layers on. You know, I would do 2 layers of color, a layer of clear dip powder, and then file over that, right? Here, because I have the builder gel on my natural nail, giving it a little bit more integrity, I don't need to do all those layers. I just have to dip until I reach my desired opacity, which is typically about 2 dips of color. And again, this will vary depending on the length of your nails. If you have longer nails, you may need a few more dips, maybe 1 or 2. Because I have short nails, 2 dips is usually fine for me. I encapsulate with gel base, as you're going to see me do here in a little bit. I don't need a clear dip powder. Please don't use clear dip powder with gel. They do not get along. It's going to look speckly and cloudy and not pretty whatsoever, especially over glitters. Skip the clear altogether. But for me, yeah, much quicker, especially when it comes to filing. Ease of use. If you've ever had to race against your dip liquids because they either dry too fast and what you're trying to do takes a little bit more time, like if you're doing an ombre or a French or a color block, or if you've had the opposite problem where your dip base dries way too slow and you go to dust off excess and gunk everything up because the base was taking its sweet time drying, that is a complete non-issue with gel liquids. With gel liquids, you do your thing, you cure, and once you cure, it's dry and it's done, and you can do whatever you want with it. Me, I'm going to encapsulate with gel base, as you're seeing me do right now. I'm applying this the same way that I applied the gel base when I was dipping, same exact way, cuticle to free edge, and this is my encapsulation layer. This is what I'm going to file and buff over later. If you want to see how I do my filing and buffing with an e-file and with a hand file, I will leave both of those videos either up in the cards or down in the box. But let's get back to ease of use, because I'm such an advocate for making things easier for yourself. I know you guys have heard the saying, you know, work smarter and not harder, and I understand this is not an option for everybody, but if this is something that is feasible for you to do with your skin type and your patience level, I would highly suggest you give it a shot, because this has made my dip game so much easier. I don't have to sit here and wait for base to dry. I don't have to race against the base because it's drying too fast. I don't have to worry about getting clear speckles on top of a dark dip powder. Now, I should tell you that the cure time for dips can vary. With very opaque or very deep dark dip powder, I like to cure for a little extra time because it'll take more time for that light to penetrate down into all those layers and cure the gel completely. So with a normal, like the white color you see me applying right now, this will cure for a full minute. With that dark glitter that you see on my ring nail, that'll cure for 2 minutes. Only because I want to make sure that product is completely cured. That way it doesn't go to crumble or anything weird later on. You want to make sure to always cure your gel completely. Now, I've heard this next concern very frequently when it comes to any kind of gel product, be it gel with dip powder, polygel, builder gel, gel polish even. I know there are some people that are very concerned with skin exposure to the light that has to cure the gel, and I understand. However, I have a couple of remedies for that as well. You can find, I found them on Amazon, gloves. They're fingerless gloves that you can wear while you're putting your hand in and out of the LED or UV lamp. So that can solve that problem pretty quick for you. Also, if you do not want UV exposure, you can get LED lamps. Matter of fact, the lamp that I use is an LED only. There are LED/UV combo hybrid lamps. So there are solutions to that problem if that's the issue that you're having. Real quick, I am rubbing off the tacky layer from the gel. That way when I go to file, because all gel base, or most gel base I should say, has a tacky layer. It is dry, but it's tacky on top. That is to hold whatever you're going to put on top of it. Gel top, gel polish. It's meant to be tacky to hold on to whatever you put on top of it. But since I'm not putting anything on top of this, I'm going to file. I'm going to remove that tacky layer. You can use either Young Nail Swipe solution, that's what I use, or you can use rubbing alcohol to take off that layer, and then you can file. So I'm going to go ahead and get my file on. I'm going to show you a little bit about how I do that, but the full videos will be up in the cards and down in the description box. But you're going to see just how quick the filing goes. This is real time, by the way. I'm going to speed up a little bit here just so it doesn't get long and too boring for you guys. But filing over these nails is so incredibly effortless. And one of the things that I most appreciate about gel that I didn't really see too much in dip liquids, and there are some exceptions, but the way gel self-levels is so beautiful. A dip liquids just cannot compare. If you've ever dipped your nail and it's looked like streaky or patchy, I'm going to sit here and tell you that it's more likely than not a liquid issue. There are some powders, believe me, I've used them, that just don't play well with anything. I don't know what it is about the formulation of certain colors and certain powders, but I really, really love the way that gel liquids can really transform even those difficult powders. As you can see, I used a white. Now, white is typically very difficult to use, especially with most dip liquids. I don't know why. They just don't like to get along. They come out patchy or streaky or weird, but I find with gel liquids, it's rare, incredibly rare, and if it happens, it's my fault. But it's rare that I have a streaky or patchy or uneven nail when I'm using gel liquids. Of course, this is going to depend on how you apply it. If you apply it thick and goopy and it's running everywhere, you're not going to get an even nail. But as long as you apply it thin and evenly across the entire nail, you're going to get a good result. And of course, this comes with practice. I've been doing my nails for years. So I'm not a nail tech. I think I said that. I may not have. I'm not a nail tech. I'm just a DIYer. Hi, I'm Marlakris. I am not a nail tech. Just a DIYer like you guys are. But I have learned through my mistakes over the last 100 years. And this for me is my go-to. So I'm just finished filing right now. As you saw, I took my e-file and I went around my cuticle line just to smooth it out a little bit. You do not need an e-file for this. The e-filing work is very minimal. Although, if you check out the e-filing video that I just posted a few days ago, I have a new e-file routine and I'm obsessed. I would highly recommend you check it out if you're thinking about an e-file, or if you just got a brand new e-file and you're not quite sure how to use it or what bits to use with it. I will leave that video up in the cards for you guys. I'm going to finish up my filing, buff over this to get it all nice and smooth, and then we're going to top coat. So here are the nails post file, and they are looking smashing. I'm going to take my scrubby brush with a little of that Young Nail Swipe solution. You can use alcohol if that's what you have, and I'm going to de-dust and clean up everything because I don't want to go to put on top coat and have a speck of dust or anything stuck in there. It's gonna bug me and drive me insane, so I like to de-dust. You could get up and wash your hands at this point if you wanted to do that also. Personal preference, whatever is good for you. It's good for me. So now I'm going to go ahead and top coat. I am not using anything underneath my top coat. However, if you want to keep your mani on for a longer period of time than just a few days like I do, I would highly recommend underneath your top coat, you apply either your gel base or a gel primer, or both. If you need all the extra security, if you're really rough on your nails, if you have a lot of water exposure, I would recommend doing your gel primer. I like the Mia Secret Extra Bond or the Young Nails Protein Bond. Then you use your gel base, cure that for 30 seconds, and then go in with your gel top. And make sure you're capping your free edge. This will ensure, or at least help prevent, any nail separating or your top coat from peeling up at some point in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up my top coat, and then I'm going to cure that for a full minute. So this is what the nails look like out of the lamp. I'm putting on my cuticle oil, and I love the way this came out. Absolutely beautiful. I hope I answered some of your questions about gel liquids with dip powder. If you have any others, let me know down below. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Love you, bye.